Hi, my name's Neil. Welcome to another edition of Running News. If you've been following the channel over the past few months, I've been presenting a Set the Pace running show, news that I've found over the past 7 days that I have found interesting. Well, from this week, guys, I'm just changing things up a little bit, where I'm going to present you with my 5 top running stories that I have found over the past 7 days. These are not necessarily the biggest running news stories of the week, but they are certainly ones that have caught my attention. Hope you like this new format. So let's dive into this week's running stories. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll give you some bonus news all about running that's happening throughout the world. Number 5, and a shout out to Tony Jones, who on April 1 began his epic run from the west coast of Australia to the east coast, starting in Perth and finishing in Sydney, to raise funds and awareness for mental health and suicide prevention. Tony plans to run 60 kilometres a day for 65 days and hopes to raise as much money as he can for Mindfullaus. His total distance to be covered is 3,931 kilometres. Now, alarming statistics show that there are 6 suicides per day in Australia and almost 60 attempts per year, and 45% of people will suffer from a mental illness in their lifetime. If you can help support Tony's cause, any donation, big or small, would greatly be appreciated and can be made via his website www.crossingforacause.net. I'll put a link to that website in the descriptions down below, and you can also follow along with Tony's journey on his website. Now, number 4, and the Australian Ultra Running Association, or AURA, A-U-R-A, held its 48-hour national championships in conjunction with the Sri Chinmoy 48-hour track festival in Canberra last weekend, and the championships were dominated by AURA members. The association's president, Ewan Horsburgh, took out the honours in the 48-hour with 866 laps of the 400-metre athletics track, or 346.5 kilometres. It was a clean sweep for the AURA members on the podium, with Stephen Redfern second with 326.4 kilometres, and Vice President Matthew Eckford third with 275.6 kilometres. AURA also dominated the podium on the women's side, with Cheryl Simmons taking top honours with 805 laps or 322.3 kilometres, placing her third outright behind Horsburgh and Redfern. Now, the runner-up in the women's was Nikki Wind with 304.9 kilometres, while third place went to Alicia Heron with 266.1 kilometres. Now, number 3 in my list, 39-year-old Chris Thompson ran a PB to win the British Olympic Marathon trials in London last week, to book his ticket to the Tokyo Games just days after becoming a father. Now, Thompson ran 2 hours 10:50 and surprisingly was given permission by his main sponsor, On Running, to run in blacked out Nike Vaporfly Next Percent shoes. On Running has its own carbon plated shoe, the Cloud Boon, but it is not yet up to the standards that Nike, Adidas, Asics and some of the other brands have created. Now, this is not going to be the first Olympics for Thompson, who also qualified for the 10,000 metres at the London Games in 2012. Now, number 2 on my list, and one of the world's oldest marathons, Fukuoka in Japan, will be held for the last time in December. Reports suggest that the Japanese Association of Athletics Federations has said the reasons for discontinuing the event include a loss of sponsors and the high costs of producing the television broadcast. Such a shame to lose this marathon, one of the fastest courses in the world and one steeped in so much history and won by some of the great marathoners over the years. Japan's Yuya Yoshido was the latest winner in 2020, just a couple of months ago in December, with a winning time of 2:07.05, while Ethiopia's Sergei Kabid is the current course record holder with a 2:05.18. Now, other great winners have been Samuel Wanjiri, Haile Gebrselassie, 4-time winners Toshihiko Seko and Frank Shorter, Rob de Castella in a then world record of 2:08.18 in 1981. I think Derek Clayton, also of Australia, set a world record in the 1967, somewhere around there. And Bill Rogers, of course, is another well-known winner of Fukuoka.
Now, I forgot to mention too earlier on, another of Japan's longest running marathons has disappeared from the calendar as well. Lake Biwa Marathon was first held in 1946 and this year was its last running. Next year it's going to be merged with the Osaka Marathon. So it's really sad that two of Japan's most iconic events have gone from the calendar, so really disappointing when you consider that Japan is so steeped in long distance running.
Brings me to number one, guys, and over in West Australia last weekend, just on the outskirts of the Perth CBD, the Herdy's Frontyard Ultra was held around a 6.7 loop on the hour, every hour at Herdsman's Lake. Now, this is a sister event to Birdie's Backyard, and there were 147 starters who towed the line at 4 p.m. on the Friday, and by 1 a.m. on Sunday, only 4 remained: Phil Gore, Kevin Matthews, Margaret Hadley, and Michael Hooker. Now, Hadley bowed out at the end of lap 33 after 33 hours, surpassing her previous best of 30 hours and 207 kilometres at the Birdie's Backyard Ultra in 2020. Hooker began lap 34 but returned to the start, which just left 2 on the course. Gore and Matthews completed lap 46 to equal the previous Aussie best and then set out on lap 47 to establish a new benchmark. Matthews succumbed to the challenge at the beginning of lap 48, leaving Gore to complete the lap for victory. Alright, promised you at the start some bonus news, so here we go. Now, the NN Mission Marathon, which I've been featuring here on the Running News show over the past few weeks, and featuring world record holder Eliud Kipchoge, was due to be held in Hamburg on April 11, but has now been pushed back a week and will now be held on April 18. However, it's unlikely to be held in Hamburg following a spike in COVID cases there recently. No alternative venue has been announced just yet. Now, it's also being reported that the Ethiopian Marathon Olympic trial that was to have been held on Sunday, April 4, has been moved to May 2 and will now be held in Geneva, Switzerland. And as you can see from this tweet from Jonathan Galt at letsrun.com, he suggests that Kenenisa Bekele, the second fastest marathoner of all time, won't run the trials. His coach says he's not ready. Now, if Bekele is not running the trials, that really does put him out of contention to run Tokyo, as Ethiopia has said that if you finish in the top 3 at the trials, you're guaranteed a place on the starting line in the Tokyo Olympic Games Marathon. So Bekele, who turns 39 in June, we may well have seen the last of Bekele at an Olympic Games, because when 2024 comes around in Paris, he'll be 42, and you would nearly have to think that at that age his Olympic career may be over. And finally, if you're looking to watch some marathon action this week, Active Training World in the UK is doing a live stream of the Downey Easter Marathon. Now, you can check out their website for times in your area, guys, when that coverage will begin, and I'll put a link to the Active Training World website down below in the descriptions, and you can go and check that race out if you want to live stream it. There you go, my 5 top running stories for the week. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. If you've made it all the way through to the end of this video, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, if you missed last week's edition, click on this video now. Until next week, guys, stay safe, happy running, and I'll catch you then. Hooroo.